So let's talk schedule. I'm sure a lot of you are still trying to wrap your head around how the schedule is going to work if you're a blended learner. What I think is important to remember, whether you're remote or blended, is that I'm only going to see my blended learners one day a week. All right. So if you're a 100% remote and you may be a little apprehensive about what you might be missing out on during class time, you're going to be missing 51 minutes in class, but whatever we're doing in class, I'm going to be assigning the same thing for you to do remotely. So if you're a blended learner, on the days that I don't see you, whatever I'm doing with the B group, if you're an A student who isn't in class, you will be assigned the same thing. And I will be available, as I'm going to discuss, to answer any questions that you might have about what happened during the face-to-face instruction time. But basically, we're treating all of the classes like they're online classes, and that window once a week where I see you will be used to answer questions and try to help you with anything in particular that might be going on, and try to have some kind of engaging activity to get the lesson main points across. But I'm going to do my best to also share that same information or that same activity with our remote learners. So Ms. Wolford made a graphic that will be available. I'm going to have this graphic loaded in my Google Classroom. I'm going to have a slideshow that you can all view later that's going to go over all these short little videos, but you'll have it as a reference. So if you are blended learning, which means you're coming to school Monday through Thursday, this is what your schedule will look like. Between 8 and 8:35, you come in either the entrance on Wildcat or the west entrance, get your temperature checked, leave your cell phone in your locker. You can grab a breakfast and you take that breakfast to your advisory class. Advisory is the same as your first class of the day. So you're going to go to that class and have your breakfast, and then class begins at 8:35. So on Mondays and Tuesdays, that'll be a first hour class from 8:35 to 9:26. And then on Wednesdays and Thursdays, it'll be fifth hour. So second and sixth, these are the times for those. For fourth hour, A or B is next, and then third or seventh hour. Dismissal will start at 12:15. Bus riders will be dismissed first, then parents who are picking up students, those students will be dismissed next, and then student drivers will be dismissed at 12:25. Instructors will have lunch from 12:30 to 1:20, and then we have a common planning period from 1:20 to 2. Then in the afternoon, we will have remote learning scheduled by class periods so that teachers can set up Google Meets or things like that. So for me, those afternoons will be times that some days I may say, hey, we're going to have a Google Meet open. You can hop in and ask questions, or you can email me to schedule a Google Meet during your allotted time for your class period. And so I'm going to kind of leave that up to the learners as if they're having issues or questions or problems. That will be the time that we can do Google Meets and figure those things out. Now on Fridays, everyone is fully remote, and you're going to notice that this bell schedule is what we would do on a traditional full day of school. So your class periods are extended. And for me, what I plan to do on those days is it will depend on the week and where we're at in individual classes, but I'd like to use Fridays as a day that we can have virtual class and people can come together and we can review for tests, or we can go over projects that we're working on. We can even do presentations during that time via Google Meet with students sharing their projects and things like that. So that because those are bigger time blocks, that day is going to vary depending upon what we've been learning that week. But I will definitely keep you posted on Mondays as to what our Fridays are going to look like. Now, you still may be a little bit freaked out about this schedule and keeping track of where you're supposed to be when and on what days. So Mrs. Cameron prepared the schedule that you can personalize. I have linked it in this spreadsheet that will be in Classroom, and you can actually go in. If you choose to do this, please make a copy for yourself before you use mine. And you can go in and fill out what day of the week it is, whether you're an A or a B student, what you should be doing, what class you should be in, and then same thing for Friday, you can fill that out. So she has one for A and B students. So I think that's a pretty helpful thing. You may want to check that out. Now, if you are a remote learner and you're wondering about that, well, everyone's a remote learner, but it may be that you're 100% remote. And if you're 100% remote, you need to check in daily with the assignments. But you also need to do that if you're a blended learner, right? The assignments are all going to be in Schoology daily, and I will post them in the morning before school starts so that you know what your day looks like. Now, if you're 100% remote, I do not expect you to join our class virtually every day. Quite frankly, it would be very difficult for me to manage 15 students in class and also have 15 students on a screen that I cannot monitor. So I don't think that is the best situation for us to do that. That's why we're going to have afternoons and Fridays for you to have individual help either through email, phone calls, or Google Meet. If you're blended Monday through Thursday, those afternoons are when you're going to do your assignments for your afternoon or the classes that you didn't attend in person that day. And again, individual help is available through the email, phone calls, and Google Meet. And then Fridays is when everyone is remote. And we really already kind of went over that. So I hope this helps you a little bit to understand what our schedule is going to look like when we start on Monday.